Sexy monsters, tooth-shattering action, and bearded dwarf ladies. Season 2 of The Witcher has it all. Yes, it's been almost 2 years since the release of The Witcher Netflix series premiered, and after several COVID delays, Season 2 has just hit. In this video, we'll be going over all the season's biggest unanswered questions, its big cliffhanger ending, and theories for Season 3. I've also included a book spoiler section near the end, which goes over where some of the storylines go in the books, but I'll warn you beforehand if you don't want to be spoiled. So pop a potion, light your swords aflame, and make sure to like and subscribe, because here we go. Our story begins shortly after the Battle of Sodden, which saw the defeat of the encroaching Nilfgaardian army by a group of mages, most notably Yennefer of Vengerberg, whose mastery of fire magic helped turn the tide of battle. But Yennefer has gone missing. Both Geralt of Rivia and Tissaia search for her amongst the ashen aftermath, believing her to be dead, but in reality she is held captive by Fringilla, a sorceress who has joined Nilfgaard. Meanwhile, Geralt has joined up with Princess Cirilla of Cintra, whose entire family was slaughtered by Nilfgaard. The two are destined to be together through the Law of Surprise. In Season 1, we saw how Geralt invoked this law after saving Duny Urchion of Erlenwald, a law which states the receiver be given something you find at home, yet don't expect. In this case, it's Pavetta's child, Ciri. Duny does not know that she is currently pregnant with this child, so from this point forward, destiny links Geralt with Ciri through the Law of Surprise. Of course, Geralt doesn't believe in destiny.
Destiny can go
Something which seems to change over the course of Season 1. But the real events of Season 2 unfold when Fringilla and Yennefer are imprisoned by Francesca Findabair, Queen of the Elves of Dol Blathanna. When Francesca finds out both of them have been receiving visions of a similar cloaked figure, she takes them to these ancient ruins which contain the tomb of Voleth Meir, the Deathless Mother, a demon from another world who feeds off the pain of others, but none of them know this yet. This demon takes different forms for each woman, promising them that which they want more than anything. Francesca believes this entity to be the elven prophet Ithilien, who predicted the end of the world and arrival of the Destroyer, who it's hinted is Ciri. For Fringilla, it's the Nilfgaardian Emperor Emhyr, and for Yennefer, a mysterious young girl named Violet, which Yennefer believes could be a, quote, young fucked up version of herself. Some have also theorized it could be a manifestation of the daughter she never had. Both Francesca and Fringilla accept their respective gifts from this demon. Francesca wants a child. There hasn't been a pure-blood elf in decades, and if the queen were to be with child, it just might be the hope her people need to carry on. The elves have been discriminated against by humans for centuries, and now the northern kingdoms have vowed to wipe them out. Fringilla, on the other hand, wants to gain the favor of the Emperor. She wants an army. With the elves having nowhere to go, an alliance orchestrated by Fringilla to have them fight alongside Nilfgaard would be a tremendous boon to her political career. Then there's Yennefer, who, after the Battle of Sodden, lost her ability to control magic. Unlike Francesca and Fringilla, Yennefer isn't desperate enough yet to ask for her powers back. This will change over the course of the season, ultimately leading Yennefer to betray Ciri, but more on that in a bit. By the end of the penultimate episode, Voleth Meir's true intentions are revealed. While she does give Francesca and Fringilla what they desire, it was all an elaborate plan to farm a vast amount of pain so that she could free herself from her enslavement. Roughly 300 years ago, the first Witchers imprisoned her, but with enough pain to feed on, she can escape. Francesca's baby is killed and Fringilla's alliance with the elves shattered. This is enough pain for Voleth Meir to escape and inhabit the body of Ciri. You see, Voleth Meir is not of this world and thus cannot take a physical form. She can only inhabit the bodies of others. This leads us to the season's final episode, where Voleth has trapped Ciri in a dreamlike state within her own mind. Here, Ciri is able to see loved ones she's lost, like Mousak and her grandmother, Queen Calenthe. This is all an attempt to keep her occupied while the real-world Voleth is using Ciri as a vessel to kill Witchers as they sleep within the halls of Kaer Morhen, the Witchers' training ground and home. In episode 2, Vesemir shows the dagger Voleth used to kill some of the earliest Witchers. Ironically, it will be the same dagger Ciri will use to kill while under Voleth's control. Yennefer follows Geralt back to Kaer Morhen, apologizing for her attempted betrayal of Ciri. Voleth had promised her if she brought the girl to the, quote, shattered black door, she would give her powers back. This plan backfires transpires when Ciri touches Yennefer, breaking into her mind, exposing Yennefer's conflicted feelings about turning Ciri into this black door. This black door is the shattered monolith Ciri broke in Season 1, and as Istrid and Geralt learn in Episode 5, they appear to act as some sort of gateway to different worlds. While Yennefer does, at the last minute, tell Ciri not to go through this door if she's afraid, it's still a massive betrayal to both Ciri and Geralt. This sets her up for a chance at redemption in the episode's final act. Geralt eventually tracks down Ciri as the bodies of several dead witchers are found, but he senses that something has taken control of her. And while she cuts him and runs off, we get a markedly different introduction sequence showing several spheres colliding into one another, creating stellacite, the material the monoliths are created from. These go on to create a tree, which is fitting for a number of reasons. One, the events of the final episode transpire around the medallion tree, where the medallions of fallen witchers hang. Second, the episode is titled Family, just like a family tree, metaphorically symbolizing the relationship between these characters as a makeshift family. The spheres colliding hint at an event called the Conjunction of the Spheres, which occurred 1500 years ago that brought both creatures and humans to the world known as the Continent. As we'll see in a bit, the show is definitely setting Ciri up as a powerful force in linking the continent with these other worlds. Vesemir prepares to take down Ciri by chugging a witcher elixir, but Geralt doesn't want to lose her, claiming that if he can convince Voleth to leave her body, they can trap the demon once she's out. It's an interesting role reversal with what happened to Eskel in Episode 2. Eskel was also possessed, but it was Geralt who wanted him dead and Vesemir who wanted to save him. Meanwhile, Francesca continues to reel from the death of her baby, believing it was the Redanians who killed it out of hatred for the Elvish people. Redania is currently ruled by King Vizimir II, not to be confused with Vesemir, and the head of Redanian intelligence is Sigismund Dijkstra, who has a number of spies across the continent, including Philippa Eilhart, who we find out has been this owl he's been talking to the entire season. She is one of a few mages who is able to polymorph. Meanwhile, Fringilla informs Cahir, a Nilfgaardian knight, that Francesca and Filavandriel have ventured off to Redania to avenge the death of their child. Fringilla is caught off guard when she's congratulated for her, quote, masterful plan. It was the birth of this child that caused Francesca to break the Elvish alliance with Nilfgaard, as the elves believed their time was better spent rebuilding than fighting wars. However, with the death of this child, the elves now have reason to join the fight. Geralt confronts Voleth, offering his own body for her to take control of in exchange for Ciri's freedom. But as the other witchers prepare to do battle, Voleth uses Ciri's scream, the same scream that broke the monolith outside Sintra. It reveals that within the medallion tree lies a similar stellacite monolith, meaning Kaer Morhen sits directly atop of one of these gateways. Voleth opens a portal, allowing these basilisk-type creatures to attack, and when Vesemir sees more dead witchers, he knows Ciri must be stopped, even if it means killing her, but Geralt blocks him, still believing she can be saved. Meanwhile, in her dream state, Ciri meets her parents. She's never seen them before, as they died when she was just a baby. Voleth is doing her best to keep Ciri entranced while the fighting continues outside. In what is likely Tretogor, the capital of Redania, Francesca has gone on a killing spree, burning all the babies in the city as retribution for the death of her child. This will undoubtedly cause a huge war between the elves and Redania. With Geralt occupied by an acid-spitting basilisk, Vesemir is able to stab Ciri, but Voleth is too powerful, being able to heal the wound. It's Geralt who ultimately figures out that because Voleth is not of this world, she needs a vessel of this world for her to live, meaning they can't lure Voleth out on her own, only transfer her to a new host. This is where Yennefer comes in, offering herself as this new vessel in an attempt to right the wrongs of her betrayal. She cuts her wrists, something that is foreshadowed when Yennefer originally meets Voleth in Episode 2. This, combined with Ciri's decision not to live in this dreamlike state with her parents, allows her to snap out of it and for the transfer to succeed. Interesting fact, Ciri's father is the only character we see that doesn't disintegrate. That's because he's the only one who isn't actually dead. The big end of season cliffhanger is that not only is he alive, but he is none other than the Emperor Emhyr of Nilfgaard. Up until now, it was believed her father, Duny, died along with her mother Pavetta in a sea storm, but there's a whole lot more story here which will likely be covered in Season 3. If you want to know what happens, I'll provide a brief rundown in the book spoiler section at the end. With Voleth successfully in Yennefer's body, Geralt asks Ciri to open a portal to Voleth's world. He believes that if Ciri can pull monsters out of a monolith, maybe she can pull them back into it. Ciri is able to do this, but the portal sucks her, Geralt, and Yennefer to this this strange land, one which Ciri saw in visions way back in episode 3. Geralt will later tell Vesemir he isn't sure where or what this place is, but it is inhabited by the Wraiths of Morhog, also known as the Wild Hunt. Upon entering this world, Voleth leaves Yennefer's body and materializes as Eredin, the leader of this hunt. He tells Ciri that her place is with him, but before she can be captured, she ports the three of them back to the continent. Upon their arrival, Yennefer learns that her powers are back, using it to heal the other Witchers. It's explained in a one-off line that it was likely her sacrifice that brought about this return of power. With Ciri back, and more people knowing that she is alive and has elder blood, everyone from powerful rulers to the witch hunt will be looking for her. We learn that Queen Calanthe held a secret about her bloodline, that Ciri was a descendant of Lara Dorn, an elven sorceress who fell in love with a human mage. This is likely what inspired the tale Nevillin told Ciri about in episode 1. In episode 5, when Triss Merigold performs Doldurza on Ciri, allowing her to unlock genetic memories, we see a wounded Lara surrounded by Fenenwed flowers, the same flowers Vesemir found near Ciri's blood, which only grow where elder blood has been spilled. This is a genetic memory of Ciri's ancestor who was killed for falling in love with a human shortly after the conjunction of the spheres. It's not just her elder blood that makes her a wanted woman. The Brotherhood, composed of kings and mages, want her so that she can be married off to King Vesemir so they can have a rightful claim to the Cintra throne. Emperor Emhyr wants her because she's his daughter, although something tells me there's more to it than that. The elves also want Ciri. After Istrid is caught, he tells them that Ciri is alive and that she is Hen Aegir, which is Elven for elder blood. And according to the Ithilien prophecy, she is the one to save the elven people. Another interesting note is Dijkstra's call for Philippa to bring him back the Bard, aka Jaskier, who had provided intel to him in the past. With Jaskier's proximity to both Geralt and Ciri, nothing but trouble can come of this. Geralt and Yennefer also end the season on complicated terms. The dragon villain Trettenmirth said that destiny will bring the two together, but destiny alone is not enough. They need something more. That something more is Ciri. Yennefer is also struggling with the fact that Geralt asked a wish of the Djinn in season 1 that he never be apart from her. So the idea that her feelings for him is just magic is always at the back of her mind. This is why when they first reunite this season, she tells him that she's still hurt. Geralt is also hurt. He's hurt from her betrayal. But regardless, he wants her to train Ciri, as she has been the only one so far who has been able to help her with her powers. And before we get into the book spoilers, we have the reveal that Emperor Emhyr is Ciri's father. Not only that, but he was the one who had Francesca's baby killed in order to sway the elves to join his cause and take up arms against the northern kingdoms. Because Fringilla and Cahir were oblivious to this assassination, they told him that they were the ones to kill the baby, so he basically caught them in a lie and has them arrested. Now here is your book spoiler warning, although a reminder that the TV show and books can easily deviate from one another, so none of this is confirmed as being a part of season 3 or beyond. The Wild Hunt wants Ciri because of her blood, believing that if Ciri can provide an heir to their king, it will grant them access to travel between worlds, a power they used to have but lost when they lost access to the Ard-Gaith, a large-scale portal which allows for entire populations to move across the multiverse. By capturing Ciri, they believe it will fulfill Ithilien's prophecy, providing an heir that could open, quote, forbidden doors. Then there's Reince, the fire mage who teamed up with Lydia in search of Ciri. He finally gets to meet the person paying Lydia for this search. We don't see who it is, but in the books, it's Vilgefortz. We'll find out he's been working alongside the Emperor, helping him get the throne in exchange for lands in the north once it's taken over. He believes that with Ciri's blood, he can claim her powers, and he definitely wants that. Then there's the fate of Cahir and Fringilla. Because this storyline diverted a bit differently than it does in the books, my guess is that the Emperor will set them free in exchange for hunting down Ciri. After all, it's Cahir who is one of the few people who actually knows what Ciri looks like. Geralt and Ciri, of course, will be on the run, likely to find more info about the Wild Hunt and how to stop them. Ciri also has to finish her training with Yennefer. But I want to hear what you thought of The Witcher Season 2 and your theories of what could happen in Season 3. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.